everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to introduce you to another immensely profound book, Die with Zero from Bill Perkins. It might feel strange to think about dying during the holiday season, but I feel like every new year is a reminder that our time is finite. Among the personal finance books, this book might just flip your whole perspective on money, life, and how you're spending both. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, am I saving too much? Am I living too little? And why does my bank account feel happier than I do? This book is for you. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know I'm all about smart money habits. Investing early, saving consistently, and letting compound interest do its thing. And yes, those things still stand. But let's be real. What's the point of growing your retirement fund to 7 figures if your only splurge is a deluxe walker in 50 years? Perkins throws a curveball by asking, are you hoarding money at the expense of making memories? In this video, we're going to explore why Perkins thinks oversaving can become a trap, how to balance being financially responsible while living fully, and why the real ROI isn't in your investment portfolio, it's in your story portfolio that you'll tell your grandkids. Because while compounding interest is great, compounding memories might be even better. The book contains 9 rules or chapters, each focusing on a key idea about how life is about experiences and why you should live intentionally and make sure you're creating a life filled with joy while balancing saving and investing for the future. I'm putting an outline of the chapters here. 1. Maximize positive life experiences. 2. Invest in experiences early. 3. Aim to die with 0. 4. Use all available planning tools. 5. Give money to kids or charity early. 6. Don't live life on autopilot. 7. Plan in terms of seasons. 8. Know when to stop. 9. Take big risks early, not later. At its core, Die with Zero is a manifesto for making the most out of life. Perkins argues that money should be used as a tool to create positive life experiences, rather than as an end in itself. Think about it. When was the last time your savings account gave you a standing ovation? Probably never, but those memories of an epic family vacation or learning to salsa dance at 2 a.m., they stick with you and they're priceless. Memories, unlike that pile of unused loyalty points you forgot to redeem, actually increase in value over time. Perkins says memories are the ultimate return on investment, and honestly, he's got a point. After all, nobody lies on their deathbed wishing they had spent more time polishing their stock portfolio. The idea is experiences, not dollars, are what make life rich. Experiences shape who we are. Experiences pay the best interest. Perkins writes, think about your most cherished memories. Odds are they're not tied to how much money you had in your account at the time. Instead, they're moments that made you laugh until you cried, taught you something new, or connected you to the people you love. To emphasize the impact of memories, Perkins introduces a concept he calls memory dividend. Essentially, the joy of an experience doesn't end when it's over. It pays dividends for the rest of your life. Let's say you spend money on an incredible experience, like a family road trip, or romantic getaway, or Taylor Swift tickets. That memory doesn't just bring joy in the moment, it keeps paying emotional dividends for the rest of your life. Perkins talks about a woman who downsized her house to free up funds for travel. She could have kept the big home and continued saving, but instead she chose to visit 30 countries. Years later, her bank account wasn't as full as it might have been, but her life was overflowing with friendships, memories, and personal growth. The lesson? Money isn't the goal, it's the fuel. And if you don't use it to power your dreams and passions, what's the point? A lot of people who aggressively strive for fire often ponder the question, what would they do now that they reach fire? They also shared that they were happy at that time, but the feeling was brief. Financial security is important, but hoarding wealth without a purpose can leave you with a life that may be financially rich but emotionally bankrupt. By shifting your focus to experiences, you're investing in what truly makes life worthwhile. One of the standout ideas in the book is the concept of time buckets. The idea is simple but profound. Life is divided into seasons, and each season comes with its own prime opportunities. Your 20s and 30s, for example, are the ultimate YOLO years. Not in the reckless max out your credit card way, but in the take bold risks and make epic memories way, because you'll never have this much energy or this little responsibility again. Perkins breaks it down. You can't get the same return on experiences later in life. Some things are simply better when you're young. He's not saying you should blow all your money on skydiving trips and music festivals, but he does want you to recognize that life has a sell-by date for certain experiences. Backpacking through Europe, partying in Ibiza, or hiking the Inca Trail are amazing adventures, but they're a lot harder to enjoy when your knees sound like Rice Krispies every time you move. Do the big, bold things now while you still can. He also introduces the concept of life optimization. Each stage of your life has experiences that are best suited to that time. Your 20s and 30s are prime time for trying, failing, and laughing about it later. You want to learn to surf? Great! Get out there, wipe out 10 times in a row, and turn it into a hilarious story to tell your friends. You want to start a business? Perfect. The stakes are lower now than they'll ever be. Worst case, you learn something valuable. Best case, you change your life. And yes, mistakes are part of the process. Your 20s and 30s are not just for bold experiences, but also for bold mistakes. And these are the stories you laugh about later. Trying to surf, failing miserably, and getting wiped out by the waves. That's the kind of memory that sticks with you in a good way. These misadventures add color to life, and waiting too long to try them robs you of that vitality. 3. Aim to Die with zero. The book's title might sound provocative, but its message is practical. Perkins isn't saying you should max out your credit cards and live on ramen noodles until your next paycheck, but he is asking a bold question. How much money is enough? The truth is, most of us are so busy chasing more that we never stop to define what's enough actually looks like. Society glorifies endless accumulation. We're told to save, invest, and grow our wealth as if there's some kind of finish line where financial nirvana awaits. But Perkins flips this idea on its head. Beyond a certain point, money becomes meaningless, he writes. It's just numbers on a screen. He shares an anecdote about an executive who worked tirelessly into his 60s, convinced he needed to keep building his fortune. By the time he retired, he had more money than he could ever spend, but he'd missed countless family milestones, friendships had withered, and his health had taken a toll. The real tragedy isn't running out of money, it's running out of time to enjoy it. Perkins introduces the concept of the utility of money. In other words, the value of your money depends on when you use it. Spending $10,000 on a dream vacation in your 30s brings a different kind of joy than spending it in your 80s, when your idea of adventure might be finding a TV remote that works. The key is to spend your money during the moments when it has the most impact on your happiness. By aiming to die with zero, you're focusing on optimizing your spending so that you enjoy your wealth during your lifetime. Perkins cautions against becoming an accidental philanthropist. This is the person who unintentionally leaves behind a fortune simply because they never got around to enjoying it. Wouldn't it be better to spend your wealth on creating joy for yourself and your loved ones while you're alive? As he puts it, you can't take it with you, but you can use it to create a legacy of memory. To achieve the goal of dying with zero, Perkins suggests using tools and strategies to help plan your finances. Life expectancy calculators, budgeting apps, and financial advisors are like the GPS for your financial journey. Think of it as planning a road trip. You need to know how far you're going and how much gas or cash you'll need to get there. By mapping out your financial journey, you can avoid running out of funds too early or showing up at the end with so much extra. A practical tool is creating a spending curve where you predict how much you'll need at various stages of life. For example, your 30s might involve spending heavily on travel and experiences, while your 60s might focus more on healthcare or hobbies. The key is balance, ensuring you're neither overspending nor underliving. Perkins likens this process to packing for a vacation. Bring too little and you'll be scrambling for essentials. Bring too much and you'll waste energy lugging around stuff you never needed. Your finances are no different. Do you really want to reach the end of your life hauling a suitcase full of unspent cash when all you needed was a carry-on of meaningful experiences? Perkins jokes that too many people act like they're saving up for a lavish afterlife, complete with a penthouse in the clouds. But the reality? You can't take it with you, so use those financial tools to make the most of what you have while you're here. Because, as he puts it, the only guaranteed afterlife experience is people arguing over your will. 5. Give money to kids or charity early. When it comes to giving money, the book's advice is don't wait until you're gone to pass on your wealth. Share while you're still alive to see the impact. Because the joy of giving doesn't stop with the recipient, it comes back to you too. That means giving financial gifts early to your kids or your charity. Waiting until you're gone to leave them an inheritance is kind of pointless. In their 20s or 30s, your kids are probably navigating some of life's biggest hurdles, buying their first home, starting a business, or trying to afford daycare that doesn't cost the same as a luxury cruise. Helping your child get started in life early might lead to decades of growth and success, not to mention stories you both cherish. If you wait until you're gone to pass on your wealth, they'll likely inherit it when they're already in their 50s or 60s. By then, they might not need it anymore. Or worse, they might think of it less of a gift and more of a reimbursement. Giving money when they're already financially stable is like giving a Christmas sweater in July, he jokes. It's not useless, but it's definitely not timely. Instead, imagine helping your child pay off student loans or buy their first home or fund their dream wedding while you're still around to cheer them on at graduation or to celebrate with them. The emotional and relational bonds strengthened through this type of giving are priceless. Same with charitable giving. By donating now, you get to witness the impact of your generosity firsthand. If you fund a new community center or scholarship program, wouldn't it be more rewarding to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony or meet the students whose lives you've changed? That's a memory you can't put a price on. And there are also emotional benefits of giving while you're alive. Research shows that generosity is one of the biggest contributors to happiness. Seeing the difference your wealth makes, whether it's a charity helping a kid to attend school or your grandchild walking across a graduation stage, brings a deep sense of fulfillment. That's the kind of experience you can't replicate by writing a check from beyond the grave. On top of that, giving money early helps with avoiding awkward family drama. Wills can be a hotbed of chaos. Nothing brings out the worst in people like an inheritance dispute. By giving early, you can skip the melodrama and make sure your money is used exactly how you intend. You get to build legacies and create stories that become part of your own life experience. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of witnessing the impact of your generosity in real time. 6. Not living life on autopilot. If you're like most people, your days probably look something like work, save, eat, sleep, and repeat. Throw in a little scrolling on Instagram and maybe some microwave popcorn. Perkins calls this the autopilot trap. And he's not wrong. The problem is that many of us are cruising through life on habits we've built without stopping to ask, wait, where am I even going? Here's an analogy. Imagine you're on a road trip. You've got snacks, a killer playlist, and your GPS is locked in. But you're so laser focused on following the route that you don't stop to enjoy the scenic overlooks. Living on autopilot is exactly like that. Sure, you're moving, but are you really living? Perkins wants us to break out of the rinse and routine cycle and reconnect with our priorities. Ask yourself, am I saving for experiences I actually want, or am I just hoarding money out of habit? Are my daily routines helping me achieve my goals, or am I just riding the same old hamster wheel? These are tough questions, but answering them is key to intentional living. For me, I see value in having a routine. It's efficient and keeps life running smoothly. But I also agree with Perkins that every once in a while, we need to pause and reevaluate. Have your goals changed? Is the life you're working towards still the one you want? It's like cleaning out your closet. Sometimes you gotta let go of old habits that don't fit anymore. And it doesn't have to mean a total overhaul. Start small. Maybe that autopilot coffee routine, turn it into a cafe outing with a friend. Those small moments of intention add up, and they're the scenic stops that make the whole trip worthwhile. 7. Plan in terms of seasons. Life isn't one long, endless stretch of time. It's a series of seasons, each with its own unique opportunities. Perkins calls this the seasons of life approach, and it's about recognizing that what you can do and enjoy in one season might not be possible or even desirable in the next. Your younger years might be the ideal time for adrenaline-filled adventures, while later years might be better for savoring the quiet joys of life. The key is to align your goals and experiences with the specific season you're in. Another way to think about it is to think of life as a 4-course meal. You wouldn't hold off on enjoying the appetizer because you're saving room for dessert. In the same way, Perkins argues, you shouldn't delay experiences that are perfect for your current stage of life. Each season is designed to be savored at its own time. Planning in terms of seasons doesn't just help you make the most of your time. It also helps you let go of the idea that you can or should do everything. Not all dreams are meant to be deferred, and not all adventures are meant to last forever. By embracing the natural rhythm of life's seasons, you can focus on what are important to enjoy during that season, And remember, you don't know how long each season will last. Certain seasons of life are fleeting. Miss them, and they're gone forever. 8. Knowing when to stop growing wealth. At what point does accumulating more money stop making sense? Perkins argues that there's a point where accumulating more money stops adding value to your life. Beyond a certain threshold, the effort and time you spend earning more wealth can actually diminish your happiness. It's like adding more whipped cream to your dessert. There's only so much you can enjoy before it becomes a sticky mess. Instead of focusing on endlessly growing your bank account, consider redirecting your resources toward creating meaningful experiences. This doesn't mean abandoning financial security. It means recognizing when you have enough and shifting your focus to what truly matters. After all, nobody's handing out trophies for being the richest person in the cemetery. But the thing is, most of us don't know where to draw the line. We're so conditioned to chase more that we forget to ask what enough looks like. Perkins wants you to take a step back and define your personal enough. This isn't a universal benchmark. It's about personal values. For some, it might mean having enough to retire comfortably and travel occasionally. For others, it could mean simply being debt-free and able to spend weekends with loved ones. Whatever your definition, it should reflect your values, not society's expectations. He shares the story of a millionaire who realized too late that his relentless pursuit of wealth had cost him the things he valued most: time with family, personal health, and simple joys. On the flip side, Perkins talks about a man who decided to cap his earnings in his 50s. Instead of grinding for more, he spent his days traveling, reconnecting with his children, and rediscovering hobbies he'd neglected for decades. The result? A life that felt full, not just financially, but emotionally. These contrasting examples underline the importance of knowing when to step off the wealth treadmill. Another way to think about it is to go back to our all-you-can-eat buffet. You've already filled your plate twice, and you're starting to feel uncomfortably full. But you keep going, determined to get your money's worth. By the end of the night, you're not satisfied. You're miserable. This, Perkins argues, is exactly what happens when we spend our lives chasing more wealth than we actually need. Knowing when to stop isn't about giving up. It's about shifting your focus. Instead of accumulating for the sake of it, start using your resources to create the life you've always dreamed of. 9. Taking big risks early, not later. Here's a reality check. The older you get, the harder it becomes to take risks. Not just because your knees might start sounding like Rice Krispies, but because the stakes get higher. Your younger years are the perfect time to go big, whether that means starting a business, pursuing a passion project, or embarking on a crazy adventure. Your 20s and 30s are for collecting experiences and stories, he writes. The cost of failure is lower, and the potential for reward is higher. Failing at a startup in your 20s might mean moving back in with your parents for a few months. In your 50s, it could mean putting your retirement savings at risk or straining family relationships. In your 20s, you can afford to fall flat on your face because you'll bounce back, physically and financially. Later in life, both the landing and the recovery are much harder. Perkins shares the story of a young couple who quit their corporate jobs to travel the world for a year. Everyone warned them they were making a huge mistake, that they'd derail their careers and drain their savings. But when they returned, not only did they have unforgettable memories, they also found new, more fulfilling career paths inspired by their travels. Sometimes, the biggest risks lead to the biggest rewards. And it's not just about financial risks. Perkins encourages you to take emotional and social risks too. Join that improv class. Ask out your crush. Apply for that dream job you think you're not qualified for. The fear of failure often holds people back more than actual risks. Perkins encourages readers to reframe failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end. Even if you don't succeed, you've collected a badge of courage and learned something invaluable. Worst case, you end up with a great story. Best case, you change your life. The real failure is not trying at all. As we step into the holiday season and the start of a new year, it's the perfect time to reflect. In this season of giving and gratitude, I want to invite you to think about the kind of life you're building, not just financially, but emotionally and experientially. As the author puts it, we all get one ride on this roller coaster of life. Let's start thinking about how to make it the most exciting, exhilarating, and satisfying ride it can be. For your money is a tool, not a trophy. Use it to build a life filled with joy, adventure, and connection. Whether it's climbing mountains, taking that dream trip, or just spending more quality time with family, remember, memories, not money, are what make a life rich. Creating those experiences doesn't always have to break the bank. If you haven't already, one of the easiest ways to maximize your adventures is by having the right credit cards that offer reward points or miles. If you're in Canada, collecting American Express rewards points and airplane points is an excellent starting point for turning everyday spending into flights, hotel stays, and other travel perks. You're already spending money on groceries, gas, and the occasional late-night online shopping spree. Why not let those purchases work for you? With the right card, you can collect points that help fund the experiences you've been dreaming about. If you're strategic about earning points, these rewards almost always outweigh what you'd earn with a standard cashback card. It takes hard work to make money, so using your money wisely is just as important. If you're interested, let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to do a deep dive into some credit card strategies to help you maximize your life experiences. And one last thing, if you found this video helpful, or maybe just a little entertaining, consider subscribing to the channel. No pressure, but every click fuels my coffee addiction, so I can stay up until 3 a.m. to create more content. Thanks for spending time with me today. Remember, life is short and your time is priceless. So get out there, take a few risks, make some memories, don't let your money outlive you. Until next time, take care and happy living.